Thank you. Um, Newcomers with Disability in Sweden is a disabled refugee-led organization. We are three of us running it. It's me, the board chairman, is Anna Griffenberg and Fanny. I founded it in 2001, November, and December that same year it was registered with Skatteverket here, so that nothing is illegal, everything is legal with it. And then we are 8 of us on the board. We have around 20 members. We want to keep it small. We don't want to make it big because we have limited resources as well. Oh yeah. The vision and mission is just to empower those who have come new to Sweden and has a disability, because during the integration process, we have seen that there is one solution for everyone, irrespective of your disability. And people with disability need more time than those who without. Okay, who is our target group? Anyone who have come to Sweden and has a disability is welcome to contact us, but we mostly focus on asylum seekers and those with refugee status. We have also had people who have come because they have a wife here or a husband that bring them through family reunification. Even we have a student who is also a member with us. Anybody who has come here and has a disability is welcome to contact us as well. We have students, we have people who have come for family reunification, and they have contacted us. Yeah. So after working with this target group for more than getting to 3 years now, what are the main challenges that they are facing? The first thing is that we've seen that the level of education is comparatively low compared to Swedish standard. And this is not their fault. It's because of the way they are treated back home. Because back home, I remember, I'm coming to my own personal story to relate to this later on. But back home, when you have a disability, people look at you as a witchcraft. They tend to isolate you. The schools are not accessible. And that poses a lot of challenges. So before, they are kept at home and hidden because of the stigma. They didn't go to school back home. By the time they come here, compared to the Swedish standard, the level of education is low. And then not to talk of how digitalized Swedish society is. And when people don't have education, you can't even talk of basic IT skills. Sometimes it's as bad as people cannot attach document in an email and send. And here you need to fill your report online, maybe for your child's children school platform, or those who are on social, you need to give your report to the social services online. So it's a very big problem. And then also just to connect with people online, some cannot, and it tends to increase the gap between the local Swede and themselves. And even they can't even socialize online. I remember we have to sit and teach people how to use WhatsApp or Zoom in order to connect during our meetings. And then how do our organization work? We use the human right perspective. We try to tell them what are your rights in Sweden depending on your migration status. If you are still an asylum seeker, you have little or no right. For example, if you need a personal assistant and you are still in the asylum process, you cannot get it because you don't have a personal number. But if you already have the asylum and then you get a personal number, you can get a personal assistant under the LSS law. But we have members too that have gone through the process and they have been rejected. So that one, you have no right in Sweden. Sweden don't give you any food money, any housing, nothing. You are just on your own. The best thing for you is just to go home, because nobody is going to give you anything here. And some of them, we try to tell them there is no need living here in dark where you have no right, you have nowhere to stay, you have no food. it's just better to go home. We have two people call us last week. They have been locked up in Mashta because they first came through Norway, and Norway took their fingerprint, and it didn't work. Then they came to Sweden. So when they realized that they are a Dublin case, they call them a Dublin case, means you first came to a Schengen country somewhere, and then they are being locked up in Mashta. So when they call us, we said, hey, to be honest, we have nothing to do. You have just to be sent back to Norway. Oh, sorry. And then we empower them. We tell them they are right. And then we tell them how to ask for it. We have, like my colleague Anna, she's very versed with LSS law, and she's very good to when people receive the letters from different authorities, we help them to translate it and write the reply to them. Then, yeah, we have with basic question, we we were trying to help them, even with myself, to get job with this open mind project with Telenor, because they have a internship there for person who have disability. But because of the basic IT skill and education, no of our target group qualified to do that internship. And then if we refer them to where they can get help, the help that we cannot give them. For example, somebody come to our organization, oh, I need a wheelchair. We don't have a wheelchair to give to anybody, but we can help you fill the application to the commune that they can help you. And then what we really do that I see that is really important above all is the breaking the isolation. Like this Friday, every 2 weeks, we organize fika for them, where we buy, like you are saying there, we can go for a picnic or something. We just sit there, sit together, and you express your problem. Maybe somebody in the group has gone through the same problem. He will give you tips how to overcome it. Or you just have a community where you are welcome and you can talk instead of sitting at home. And then at the end of the fika, we give them gift card to compensate for their transport, since nobody is working. And then we network, we do project proposal. Then we are using a story of our members in order to make a deep game with it. These are the various organizations where we network in both internationally and nationally. Uh, Due to time, I will name them all. Then this this is the story I was talking about, where we like use the story of a Syrian disabled refugee who came to Sweden. I think I've shared the 8-minute video. If not, I will share it again, and you can watch the film where she came to Sweden. Her hometown of Aleppo was bombed. She had polio too, like me, when she was very young, and then she was paralyzed too. She's a wheelchair user. So her city of Aleppo was bombed during the war in Syria. And then a friend asked her to come and seek asylum in Georgia. Then, she used a very terrible roads, inaccessible, got to Georgia. After 6 months, her asylum application was rejected. Another friend asked her to come to Denmark. She has to go through the forest, through Turkey, take a boat like me, arrive in Greece, use the Balkan road. When she arrived in Denmark, she was fingerprinted, and they said she's a Dublin case because Denmark saw that she's been to Greece. So they put her in a deportation camp. Then she has to raise money now, and she was smuggled over the Ocean Bridge to Sweden. Luckily for her, when she came here, it was the time that Sweden suspended the Dublin Treaty, because both Hungary and Greece were not accepting people, because it was a lot of people coming during that period of 2015. Then she eventually met a women organization who taught her how to sew. Then she became good in sewing. She went for SFE. She went for rehabilitation. She had a far chance school. She has accessible accommodation. We're just using that story to show that those with disability, if they are supported, they can become useful for themselves and for the society. Because after all those help she got a job, and then she was able to bring her son to Sweden. And to her, Sweden was the best country to live after several years speaking Swedish and integrated in the society. But the game also had a sad ending, right? There are two endings of the game when you are playing. We are not only showing the good things, we are also showing at the actual board game, you can play depending on the dice you cast. You can end up being happy when everything was good, or it can end up to when she come here, Sweden said, no, we've looked for your fingerprint, the Eurodoc, and we've seen that you've been to Denmark and Greece. So we're locking it up to Master. She was sent back to Denmark. Denmark sent her to Greece. Greece put her on the water back to Turkey, and nobody heard from her. But because it's a game that we want children and adults to play, we just, and also, to show how integration is important, we focus more on the happy ending. So yeah, this is the summary of the board game, and then this is how the board is. We trace her journey from where Syria through up to Turkey, and then Greece, the Balkan road to Denmark, and up to Sweden. It's like the board. And then this is the illustration. From the first day she started, like the journey, and then how she, you see, like the last this when she brought her son, and she was very happy in Sweden, and some other issues. Yes, and then, yeah, that's all my organization is doing. And then we are facing a lot of challenges. Financially, we have not been stable in order to organize this FICA. So if anybody want to help, the switch number is there for the organization. And then the question can come now. Then this, I think you have the link there to the short 8 minutes film. Anybody who wants to watch it, it will be distributed later. How did I come into all this? I'll relate it now to my own personal story. Growing up as a little boy, I was born in a family, I'm the first in a family of 5. My family was not doing that bad. We were very, how do I say, we're very good and nice, but at the age of 3.5, I contracted polio, and everything changed in my life because my friends that were playing with me, their parents asked them not to come again in our house. You've been stigmatized. So the only thing I could do is stay at home. When everybody goes out, I will crawl on my 2 hands because all my 2 legs were paralyzed. I couldn't walk. One day, a reverend sister was passing and saw me. I've crawled out to come and warm my son. And she told me, who is your parent? And he said, where are they? I said, my father have gone to work and my mother has gone to the farm. I said, where is your parent back? I said, maybe 5:30 or 6 like that, they will be back. And then at that time, she came back and discussed with my parent and told them, I know what this child is sick of. I think he has been paralyzed by polio. And I know a rehabilitation center where you can take him to. My mom said, but I've gone through many hospitals here. The village has said he's a witch. I should go and throw her in the evil forest so he can go back where he comes from. Because normally in the village where I grew up, when a child is like really sick of a disease that they don't know what it is due to ignorance, they'll take the child, go and throw in the forest. Maybe a lion or a leopard can come in the night and kill the child and eat it. Then they'll say the child have gone back to where it's come from. That is a witchcraft. But it's not, it's just out of ignorance. So the Reverend Sister told my mom where the rehabilitation center was. I was taken there the following week, and they had to do an operation, plaster me. I started working with crutches. When I finished my rehabilitation after 6 months, I came back on the crutches. I was no more crawling, but I could walk 1 crutch, 1 foot, like that. And then after, the sister came back again and said, Julius need to go to school. My mom said, this is very difficult because how will the school even accept? He said, no, it's the right for every child to be in school. So the day came for me to go to school. my mom told me, just follow those children. They are going to school. Follow them. I'm not coming with you. And I said, no. He said, no, just follow them. I'll meet you later. So I started following the children on my crutch, and all of them started imitating as if they were walking on a crutch, gathering to see me. I became very uncomfortable and almost went back home. But I continue. When I arrived in school, the whole school came out to look at me as if I was not a human being, because the first time they have seen a disabled child on the crutch coming to school. So even the headmaster had to come and ask me that, why should my parents allow me to come to school like this? And my father came there, even argue with them, because they were like, no, these other students are going to scare away. I shouldn't be in school. But it was a big fight. Anyway, I continue. Even the teacher didn't give me any attention. I was sitting on the bench alone. And after 2, 3 months, that helped me too, because it helped me to concentrate on my schoolwork. So after a year or two, I became one of the best students in that school. The students started coming to me and asking for answers if they have problems. When I finished my primary school, that year, the sister came again and said, we did it, you made it, that is very good, but this is not where the work is. We have to move to other, in churches, we call it traditional gatherings, and talk to people and use your example so that other parents that had disabled children due to polio or other disease or circumstance are able to send their children to school. So we move around and we sensitize. I was on radio with her in the big cities, and that year, 300 children with disability were sent to school for the first time. So these are things that are very personally connected to me. And then I went through secondary school to the high school to the university, where I started joining politics. My reason of joining politics is because I'm from the English part of Cameroon. Cameroon is made out of two parts, the French speaking and the English speaking. The English speaking, we are the minorities. So my aim was to be an engineer after my university studies about biochemist engineer. So, but that dream didn't come true, because when I went to a polytechnic, like a very center that trained this type of engineer in Cameroon, I went to write the exam. All the examination was in French. During that time, I know no word in French. So when I came back, I said there's some political issues going on here. I started researching. I found this group of English-speaking Cameroonians that want to form their own country due to discrimination from the French majority. So I joined that group. That's where the beginning of my trouble started. I won't go into much detail. I was thrown in jail. I was beaten, all what, solitary confinement and all whatnot. After that, I came out and came to Sweden in 2015, but I didn't come directly. I moved through other countries. When I arrived in Sweden, I was sent in the asylum camp in Nynäshamn. That's my first, where I first stayed in Sweden. It was not a camp, it was just a camping site, because many people were coming, migration, so I could rented that place. But it was very inaccessible for a person with disability. It was like a slope. I can't count how many times I fell down there. Even those who had wheelchair could not fit in. So I started, documenting it, giving my background with activism for disability rights. I put it as a project, had an internship with one Swedish organization, which I'm not more working with them, so I don't want to call their name. We got money from Almana as funding for 3 years. And it was wonderful, because I was there as intern for 6 months. They told me, if we have money, you have a job. We don't have money, we will say goodbye. Then I was waiting for answers. So it was a period where I didn't know if I would stay in Sweden or not. So in 1 week, I got the permit, and then we got the money for the project. So I got a job and I got my resident permit. So that permit me that I never, up till now, I've never lived on social money in Sweden. I always, that's something I'm always proud of, that I always live within my own means. I've never gone to the social to ask for any money. So you see, when I finished working with that organization, then I had to create my own to continue the work. 80% of our members are polio victims. So that's why this organization means a lot to me. And that's not only the only thing I do. I also do advocacy for polio vaccine. I move within other Rotary Club. I've done advocacy video with Bill Gates together to ask for donors to donate more money for the Polio Foundation to buy vaccine to children all over the world, because my goal is to see that there is enough vaccine that children are vaccinated, that no child should go through what I went through. No child should be isolated, rejected just because of polio virus. Meanwhile, we can all prevent it. So I will stop here for now due to time constraint, and I will take questions if anybody have one.